I think one of the ways that people responded to my origin video was to think that what I meant was that you should just quit your job.
Well, you totally should.
I mean,
if that's what you want to do.
If that's what you want to do. So this video is going to be to clarify. Clarify.
Mm-hmm.
Rafi's Rambles, Rafi's Rambles, Rafi's Rambles.
Hola, you amazing artist. I've got a question from Joe Schlaghack.
Somehow I don't think that's how you say it. Joshin Schlagecki. Right? Right? Am I right?
Do you think it's necessary for an artist to do it full time to be able to progress skills, do marketing related things, etc., to become a successful artist? Well, that's an interesting question, and obviously this was in response to my artist origin video where I tell you about how I started as an artist and basically how I just kind of jumped in, left corporate, and did that whole thing. Joshin, the answer is not as simple as a yes or no. I think this has a lot to do with your own personal journey as an artist, whether or not that's something that you feel that you need in order to make your career a reality.
I mean, obviously, the more time you devote to something, the better you're going to get at it and the further you're going to progress. But it's up to you how you divvy up that time.
Yeah. For somebody like me and where I was in my life, the only thing that made sense to me was to just jump in with both feet. So for me, I'm a very all or nothing type of person. So when I went for it, I had to go for it fully because I had to take all excuses to back out of my life. So there are a lot of examples of artists and other creatives that had full-time jobs that did their writing or their art during their spare time and went on to have successful careers. And I personally have friends that are artists that have full-time jobs that also do their art and show art on the weekend. As far as needing to quit your job to do this full-time, you don't have to. That being said, if you are working a job that you cannot stand, that the only reason that you're there is because of a paycheck, then I suggest that you leave that job. Now, I'm not saying that you leave that job, just jump right into being an artist and the whole uncertainty that comes with that, but I do suggest that you find something that you enjoy doing much more than what you are doing that you hate.
Yeah, if you work in a soul-crushing environment that makes you dread each coming day, then you should get out for a plethora of reasons, not just your creativity.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like, my job sucks, I hate my job, everything I do in this job just sucks, then you should definitely quit that job and go somewhere else. The thing is that if you have a job that is soul crushing, it's going to suck at your creativity. When you get home, you're going to be so spent, you may not want to paint or draw, or the content of what you are painting or drawing may not be the kind of stuff that you want to create because you're just trying to vent off steam. For me personally, working at a job that was soul crushing caused me to be less creative because I was constantly thinking about my job and constantly working out problems and taking a lot of work home with me. So I didn't really have time to be creative, and I really wasn't a happy person because of it. That being said, stressing out about money is another creativity sucker. That's another thing that's going to take away from your creativity if you constantly have to be thinking about where you're going to make money.
Yeah, then you spend all your time being like, I don't have any money.
I think the reason that I worked for us was because the challenge wasn't to make money. The challenge was to get to a place where we felt comfortable even if we didn't have money. It's still a challenge sometimes because we may be comfortable with our art career, but that doesn't mean that week to week it's guaranteed. Like, none of this is guaranteed. We could spend an entire 2 months without having any type of income, and it's just a matter of being prepared for that financially. And how not to fall into oh, woe is me type of mentality of like, we don't have any money, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, and then your mind's like, you don't have any money, and you're a failure, and you suck, and your art sucks.
Like I said before, a lot of it has to do with your mentality. Like, where is your mind? Especially if you decide to just quit your job and go right into the uncertainty of an art career, You have to be mentally prepared to be able to do that. And if you're not mentally prepared to be able to do that, be able to face those very, very real fears, then I suggest you just have a part-time job or a full-time job, whatever it is, something that you love to do that allows you the freedom and the time to be able to create. Now, I'm not saying that that's the way to go. I'm saying that you need to listen to yourself, because for me personally, that wouldn't have worked. I would have ended up dedicating way more time to my part-time job than my art, because my art career scared the heck out of me. So I was going to go with things that were comfortable, not things that scared the heck out of me.
Then sometimes life just takes over, you know? One day, I just quit my job. And I found myself just walking out of my job.
Until about like an hour later.
When I freaked out. And I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do?
An interesting moment in the early days of our relationship.
And then Rafi was like, why don't you make some jewelry? And then I was like, maybe I will.
You were more like, maybe I will.
Maybe I will.
So Joshin, from what you're saying here, you love your job. And if you love your job and you're doing that and you're doing your art, then I suggest you do both. What you're asking here is about becoming a successful artist. And the thing is that success is rated by what you decide it's rated. For some people, it's being a full-time artist. For some people, it's being a famous artist. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten negative comments on my stuff and people are like, I don't even know who you are. As if the only way that I could be successful is if I were super famous.
World-renowned artist thing.
That's my goal. And then once I become a world-renowned artist thing, I'm done. I could die. You decide what it means to be a successful artist. Whether or not you have a part-time job or a full-time job and you're an artist doesn't take away or add to that. It just, you decide what it means to be successful for you. In the very beginning, your goal for what it means to be successful might just be selling some work. And the moment you sell some work, that's it. You're successful, and then your goal is going to switch to something else. Like you're going to want to sell more work, or you're going to want to show your work here. As long as you are doing what it is that you set out to do, and you keep striving for more, I think that that's all that it means to be a successful artist. From the sound of it, it sounds like you do your daytime job and you love it, and then you spend all your off time working on your art. I mean, chances are that you're working on art more than a lot of the professional artists that I know. So, no, as long as you keep striving to grow and reach the next level and the next level and the next level, that's what causes growth, not how much you do it. And if you feel like just jumping in both feet because you can't find anything and you have your mindset where you need it to be, then jump in with both feet. Keep your job, jump in with both feet, do whatever it is that you feel that you need to do. I really don't have any answers for you guys on this. This is a personal choice, whether or not you decide to quit your job and jump into your art, or whether or not you decide to quit that specific job, get another job so that you could jump into your art, or if you decide to keep your job and jump into your art, or you decide to keep your job and not do your art. All of that is your choice. You decide what it is that you want to do with your life. I apparently needed to jump in with both feet, but that was only after about 25 years of not doing anything with my art. Had I been working on my art during those 25 years and working that job, maybe the outcome would have been completely different. So I don't know. I just know what my choice was.
You decide.
Yeah, you decide. You decide.
You decide.
So Joshin, all I have to tell you is if you feel good making your decision, then that's what you got to do. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer to this. You just follow your gut, follow what it is that you want. Just take chances, whatever it is that you want to do, you're doing the right thing. I had a friend called the Duke of Sicily who was a full-time dentist who owned his own practice, and he was also the Duke of Sicily. He was this super famous artist that did all these different portraits for celebrities and things like that. I also had another friend that was a manager at Starbucks, and he was a full-time artist who had a huge art career in Chicago.
I guess the whole premise of this video is I do what I want. I'm my own person. Nobody tells me.
Yep.
I wake up and I get dressed in the clothes that I want. I eat the breakfast that I want.
I get to wipe my own butt.
Wipe my own butt. I have coffee coffee. That's how I like it. I go to my job if I want, and if I don't want, I don't go.
All right, they get the point. And thank you so much for the question, Joshin. That actually helped me clear something up because that message always gets lost in there when I tell people about how I did it. I feel like they get the impression that that's what they're supposed to do, and it's like, no, it's a very personal thing. You have to decide on your own what the right choices are for you. If you guys have any questions or comments about art and doing art full-time or doing art part-time, I would love to hear your comments in the comment section below. And also leave a link to your website so that I could check out your artwork as well, because that would be fun. And thank you so much for watching, you guys. You guys are absolutely freaking awesome. I totally adore you. And if you like this and you want to watch more like this, you click right over here to subscribe. And that's it. Say goodbye, Clee.
I do what I want. I'm my own person. Good day.
Adios.